The end is nigh for you, Juice Maxwell. So, anyways, the movie, the movie this time, I was gonna say this week, but it's like, nah, you can only say that if you fucking release it weekly, jackass. But it's like the movie this time, I'm gonna try to do this weekly, but it's another one of those movies that like I saw when I was a kid. For some reason, because my dad loves like buddy movies and like buddy cop movies, and like so do I. But like, I did not on purpose choose this movie because it's the same director as the last one I did, Saving Silverman. It's just a huge coincidence. I didn't realize. I was just like, hey, the connection I'll make is that it's Steve Zahn, and he was in the last movie, and then Martin Lawrence is in this movie. And so for the next movie, I'm going to do Blue Streak. Martin Lawrence is the star of that movie. Talk about that. After that, I'll do Idiocracy because Luke Wilson is in Blue Streak. And, you know, I'll try to keep the chain going like that. If I have I've, you know what, I promised myself, if I have a guest, it'll be something that's like not in the chain, so we can talk about something random. You know what I mean? I just be like, hey, what movie do you want to watch and talk about? So the interesting thing about like not Blue Streak, National Security is that this was probably like, dude, this is probably like his fourth or fifth cop movie. Like Martin Lawrence had done a fuck ton of cop movies. Like the first one he did obviously was like 95 and Bad Boys, and then he did Blue Streak, which we'll talk about next week. I'll try to do it next week. In 99, and Big Mama, which I forget. Is he a cop in that? I'm not gonna watch it again, but I remember at some point he has a surprise, and he pulls a gun out, and he's like, "Freeze!" You know, that's where that joke came from. That was in 2000, and then this came out in 2003. But out of all of them, like that one probably got like the worst reviews, and I just feel like not a lot of people talk about it. But like there was this one guy who I hung out with. He was like, "What are you gonna do?" He was making fun of me. He's like, "What are you gonna do? Talk about Saving Silverman again?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna talk about national security." He's like, "Hey, that movie's pretty dope, though." So I'm like, okay, so some people I guess do kind of know about it, but I don't know. So it's a buddy cop movie, and I think what's interesting about this movie is that like it does that thing that I love about a lot of goofy comedy movies. Like one of my favorite movies, Dumb and Dumber. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's like the best thing about Dumb and Dumber is that its ability to switch between the tones so amazingly. It's like when you watch Dumb and Dumber, and it's like the scenes where just the villains are talking, like the music's different. You just feel like the camera just like is different. Like the tone is just like if you were to like walk in and just land on one of those scenes, you wouldn't realize it was Dumb and Dumber like right away because that's how like different and shift. And so like, and I think that makes the funny shit funnier. And I think that I think that makes the funny shit funnier. And this, you know, to play off the serious shit, and they do that really well in here, especially because like they touch on like such a serious like subject matter. You know what I mean? And it's like it's kind of like the theme of like some of the movies I want to do. It's just like, yo, can we do this today? Because this is a topic that's forever relevant until it's like solved. Is one of those problems that like it's not easily solved, which is so it's like the point of like looking back at like old movies from the early 2000s is like the definition of that, where it's just like, can you make fun of like these things anymore? And it's like it's a different time when you can't do stuff like that anymore, and it's fucking insane. You know what I mean? And it's like it's crazy how you can do that. And like I think they do it just fine. I think they do it tastefully because it's like a buddy cop movie with this serious sad. It's all based around this one particular incident that's like I said, it's like it's also like horrible and bad that this is like forever relevant. You know what I mean? What's the name of that brand of whiskey? Espolone sponsor me. Um, and so it's just like okay. And another good thing about this movie that I like, before I get into the plot and stuff, is like, dude, Steve Zahn. I'm gonna like do a lot of posts. I'm gonna try to do a lot of post shit and just like add in pictures and shit to this video. But like Steve Zahn, I really admired the physical transformation because if you see a movie, which I do want to talk about with someone, if you see a movie called Strange Wilderness, which is another movie like not a lot of people have seen, but it's a great movie. Like Jonah Hill, Justin Long, um, the guys from Happy Madison. It's a Happy Madison movie, but it's the guys from Adam Sandler's crew. They're in Big Daddy. It's the star of the fuck is that movie called? Grandma's Boy. Okay, it's a cool movie. Anyway, Steve Zahn looks skinnier, younger, and he has like long hair compared to like in this movie, which is like forever before He like is like chunky. He has like the cop mustache and the cop buzz cut, and it's just like I just like actors who are able to do that. Just like really, not necessarily like oh they can transform their body, but it's like I like doing that shit too. Where it's just like a simple haircut and a simple like tweak of your facial hair can make you look like a completely different person if you like commit to it. And I think that's like cool to see that implemented. And that's what I mean. It's just like it is layers to this goofy ass stupid movie. It's talking about a subject in moderately tone deaf way. Like you know what I mean? But it's like so. It's a buddy cop movie. It opens up. Um, Steve Zahn's character is Hank. I might call him Steve Zahn or Hank. It depends, but like Hank. Hank is our second lead. He's talking. He's a cop. He's talking to his partner. They're just buying food or whatever the fuck, saying some racist shit. No, they're not. I think he's just buying tacos, and I was just like, of course they're buying tacos. And then like they're just like eating tacos, and then like they see like a security guard walking around. They're like, hey bro, what do you think? Like, do you think he's an ex-con who got that job, or do you think this or that? And he's like, nah, he's got to be an ex-con. They ask him, they make a bet on it, and they ask him, and they, hey, where'd you do time? He's like, this place, and he's like, ha, I was right, and they bet on it. That's fucked up. And it's Jeff Ross that plays that, a young skinny Jeff Ross with hair. He doesn't look a giant testicle, and it's fucked up that they're making fun of him like that. But anyways, so then a call comes in, which you find out later. It's from the villains of the movies. It's the villain of the movie, and like it's a thing that's like reoccurring throughout the entire movie. That happens is like the call comes in because an alarm went off or something, and then they're like, "Hey, never mind, that shit was an accident or it's a false alarm," and that stops people from going. That's how you know it was them. That comes into play later, and then Hank is like, "Hey, we can still check that out. First mistake. You want to just do it anyway? Nah, bro. Listen to God. It said it was a false alarm, even if it wasn't true." I had something. Anyways, but no, but like for real, that's just one thing I thought, or I realized I was like, dude, all he had to do was just like not say fuck it and go, because then like of course like they go and they find everything like all broken into, and then like they split up. Shootout starts happening, and immediately one thing I like about this movie is that its action is very good. I like the action set pieces. A lot. This first one, it's like in this weird warehouse that's also a part of like a like kind of like a U-Haul thing, something like that. And like they're split up, and like they're split up from like they're like one's locked in, like Hank's locked in an office while his friend's out like on the floor of the warehouse like hiding behind covers shooting at people, and then like Hank's behind bulletproof glass and the door's like he can't get out. And his partner dies, blah blah blah. And it's like, but I mean like the set pieces just jumbling over a huge point of the movie, but like his partner dies. Typical shit where it's like, oh, my partner died, and it's like, oh, I wonder who his new partner is gonna be. He's gonna be Earl Martin Lawrence. But anyways, so like the set pieces are really cool because like, I mean, like, dude, there's like a soda factory, which is like the coolest thing of like product placement, I suppose. It's a soda factory. You see all these brands, but it's like it's cool. Like they're ducking behind all this shit, and all the sodas blow up, and it's like it's fun to watch. And like, there's a cool thing like on the freeway. There's a cool thing like on like a construction yard, and like so there's one and like in an apartment building. There's a lot of few chases, and it's like it's really cool. It's really good. Like they commit to like what they're gonna do for every little thing that they have to do. Like the action's cool, the comedy's good. I like the comedy, and what was it? And then like the serious like dramatic things, like they're good. Like so it's like I like things that are people are like stick to one thing, and I'm just like, I mean, things aren't so black and white, and like it's got to be broad. 'Cause that's what life is. Like, it's like, I mean, one day, I mean, in a whole day, you start off with like a shitty, terrible day, be goofy, an hour later, and then just like, I wouldn't say get into a car chase, but I just feel like that's just like the tone of life. It's like forever changing, and it's not always gonna be just a comedy or just a horror movie or just this. It's like it's a variety of like emotions going into a very complex situation. And yes, I'm talking about National Security, 2003, starring Martin Lawrence and Steve Zahn, directed by the guy who did Big Daddy. Do you know Big Daddy got bad reviews? And everyone loves it. I love it. Critics are douches, dude. But anyways, so like Hank's partner dies, cuts to like a little time later, and this is like a weird little like time shift because like it cuts from like the rainy, stormy funeral, and then to like Martin Lawrence, Earl at police academy in like broad daylight. Cuts back and forth between that, and then like when when Hank's at the funeral talking about like talking to the detective who like his boss is like the guy from that episode of the Boondocks where like Granddad's car gets stolen, where it's like Granddad's getting interrogated, and the guy's like it's like that big ass tall guy. He's like, so you telling me you left the house at 8:15? And Granddad's all like nervous, like yes, I think it was 8:15. And he's trying to fuck him up. He's like, so you telling me you left the house at 9:15? Uh, yeah, yes. And he just starts. Oh my god, he laughs. You know you done fucked up, right? No, wait. I said no. You know you done fucked up, right? It's that guy, and he's great in this movie. And they're in the rain. The boss has an umbrella, but Hank does, and he's like, I don't care about this or that, bro. I just wanted the son of a bitch who killed Charlie. And he's like, you're a police officer, not a detective. Don't worry about it. And he's like, it's just like cliche shit. But they come into the bit. This rain machine is on point. And I like the actors. And so then it cuts to Martin Lawrence Earl at police academy training. And, what is it? He's not taking shit seriously. He's going through like the obstacle course. Just like it opens with him like going through the obstacle course, like shooting shit. And he's fucking it up. He's doing great. He did great. Last thing he had to do was like shoot like a line of motherfuckers with guns, like a whole gang of motherfuckers with guns. Shoots all of them except one. He's like, how come you missed that guy? And it was like the one black guy in the group. He's like, I wouldn't aim it at him. He's just the dude caught up in a situation with a bunch of crazy white guys. And he starts talking to the thing. And he's just like, hey, man, I got you, brother. Don't never be afraid to call 911. Because that takes to this. I takes to the, I forget what he says. I takes to the something when Earl Montgomery's on the scene. Something stupid like that. And he turns around and he's like, what the problem is? Then it cuts back to the funeral, I think. But anyways, and so it's like, and they do like a car chase. Like they're observing a car chase, and Earl's like, I can do that shit better. And so, of course, the teacher of it, and he's just like, just fucking chase me, smart ass. Chases him. It's a great chase. Fucking Martin Lawrence goes ham, gets him to like get out of his car, and he's running away from him on foot. And he's like driving next to him while he's running. He's like, you're insane. And you resist an arrest. Slams him with the door and just tackles his ass, arrests him. It's great. For some reason, he has like these extra long handcuffs, so he doesn't do like typical like lock you up like this. He'll lock one arm to a leg. That's way more effective, I think. You fucked. But like tackles him, arrests him. He goes time. Left the car running. It flies and blows up. And I don't know why he's not in jail. Why is this man not in jail for this litany of offenses? Assaulted an officer with the car door. Is that assault with a deadly weapon? Blew up a car. Yeah, general mischief. So they escort him out. And what is it? This I think is another good point for the movie, is that like Hank goes back out on the streets and back to work like right away. He doesn't take like any time to process the death of his fucking friend, and he goes immediately back on the road. I think it's his first mistake. And his boss, the guy from the Boondocks, was like, you done fucked up, right? Was like, you want someone to ride with you, Hank? And he's like, no. I'm like, dog, like no, like. That's what happens with men. See, there's a problem with men not wanting to talk about their feelings and process their shit. Shit like this gonna happen because shit goes down. So it's like he goes out, he's driving, and Earl, Martin Lawrence, is he's buying food from a taco. All he's doing is hitting up taco places, and he leaves the food on top of his car, like on the roof of his car, because he realizes he left his keys in the ignition, locked him in there. He's sticking him through the crack in the window. He's trying to reach it in. And Steve Zahn, come on. What's your name? Muggs, get up here. And Steve Zahn sees him, and he's just like, Steve Zahn sees him, and he walks up to him, and he's just like, hey, buddy, you need some help? And I mean, he's being condescending, I believe. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it depends on how like you want to take it. Like, you know how he's being, but you could choose not to take it that way and probably move it along better. But still, he didn't have to be that way. Because Martin Lawrence immediately, like, he does not take that shit. He's just like, are you asking me if I need help? Or are you asking me if I'm stealing this car? And he's like, all right, are you stealing this car? And he's like, does it look like I'm stealing this damn car? And he's like, a little bit. And I'm like, sure, guy, like with his hand, with his arm all the way down there. But it's like, bro, think for a second. He's got food on the car. He's dressed in like a normal chill fly outfit. It's not a burglar's outfit. He looks like a regular guy. It's broad daylight and there's food on top of the hood. If I'm robbing some dude's car, I'm not taking food with me. But I guess you could say, I don't know, Martin Lawrence didn't have to answer back so snappy, but Hank started it. You're like, you need help? It's like, bro, yo ass, you know you ain't asking him if you need help, bitch ass. So then they get like Martin Lawrence isn't complying like whatsoever. Because even though like Hank or Steve Zahn is like being slightly unreasonable, he's not going crazy yet. And then I don't know where Martin Lawrence just calls him a Nazi, which I'm like, see, forever relevant because it's like that's all we call cops now. And idiots are not like they're Nazis. And so he calls him a Nazi and that pisses him off. And he's like, you're under arrest. And he didn't have to do this shit either. So it's like there's a lot of wrong going, but it's a lot from Hank. Because like he shouldn't have been. Ziggy, is that you? There's a dog here too. Ziggy, shut up. Sorry, I don't want to leave Ziggy alone. And I didn't put my headphones on. I was like, yo, I can't hear myself. I'm scared. So like, yeah, and so like he ends up like slamming him up against the car and shit. He's like, you stay on the bed. He ends up like slamming him against the car for like no fucking reason, of course, because like he's angry and he won't stop or whatever. And out of nowhere, a bumblebee flies into the flies near them, and apparently Martin Lawrence's character is like a deathly allergic to. But there he goes. Apparently Martin Lawrence's character is deathly allergic to bumblebees, and and so it's like he's like, you think I'm gonna fall for that? But then like Hank sees it and he's like, oh fuck, and so he's trying to swat it for him with his fucking nightstick, and it's like, okay, he's trying to swat it for him and blah blah blah. And so the thing about a little side thing, the thing about Mexican representation or Hispanic representation in movies is that anytime there's a Hispanic person in the movie, it's like they're usually cooking in like a taco truck or that they're a gardener. This guy was a guy who was at a park with his family and he happened to have a camera and he sees a cop and it's like a typical fucking goofy thing. And that's what I mean about the crazy thing about tone in this movie is that like it's like one of those classic like comedy writing styles of like it's just a simple misunderstanding of like, you know, it's like it looks like he's beating the shit out of a dude but he's swatting a bee, but like the situation of it's like a fucking cop beating a black person in public, which is like an ongoing problem. So that's what I mean. It's like insane that they're joking about it, I think like they're doing it fine. And so of course the shit goes viral. There's a crazy court scene, Boondocks-esque court scene, like the R. Kelly type one, where, you know, it's like Hank's lawyer is asking Martin Lawrence on the stand. Oh, when the picture goes out, his face is all swollen and shit because of the bee, and it looks like Steve Zahn beat the fuck out of him. And, you know, when Steve Zahn gets fired, he's like, it was a bee. And they're like, and the guy from Boondocks, get the hell out of this. Like, get the hell out of my face. You know you done fucked up, right? And so they're in the court. No, so like before they go to court, fucking Martin Lawrence's character comes in to talk to like Hank's bosses or whatever, Earl, and right away like he's coming in, he's all happy, he's all extra, he's all goofy because he's, you know, he's an extrovert, he's chill, he's a happy dude, he's outgoing. And immediately, bro, they call him on his shit. They're like, hey, what's up with your face? He's like, I was assaulted by one of your officers. He's like, no, like, what's up with all, like, there's no swelling or bruises. He's like, oh, you know, that was allergies. Under his breath, bee sting. They're like, excuse me? And they just realize right away, like, just especially the more he talks, it's like, oh, this guy's just full of shit. But they're like, no, we understand the gravity of this situation. Like, even though it is, like, what it is different. It's not what it looks like. We're not going by what it is. We're going by what it looks like. Because gotta do what you gotta do. And so the court thing happens, and it's like a crazy, like that Boondocks episode, the R. Kelly court thing. You know, Steve Zahn's lawyer is asking Martin Lawrence, so was there a bumblebee present at the thing? at the whatever, because like Steve Zahn's trying to like he tried when he was on the stand, he tried to show them the bumblebee in the video, but he's like you can't really see it from this angle, and it's just comedy, whatever. And then Martin Lawrence is like, yeah, there was a bumblebee present. And he's like, and Laurie's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, there were birds chirping, dogs barking. I'm pretty sure in the bushes there was a chipmunk humping a turtle. And then the jury, all black people are laughing. You know, order, whatever. And he's just making jokes the whole time. And, you know, and then Hank, just whatever, nonsense court. Hank gets sentenced to 6 months in prison, which is like, damn. For the way he looked in that photo, 6 months, that ain't shit. Which, remember, he got 6 months. Martin Lawrence was at the court. This will come up later for a plot hole. Sorry. So, you know, Hank goes to jail or goes to prison for 6 months. He's on the bus, like, handcuffed to that guy who's in that. He's in every movie as Hector, the bald Hispanic dude with the goatee. He's in Bruce Almighty. He had the monkey come out his ass. So Hank's like locked up next to him on the bus, and he's like, "Hey, you that cop?" He's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "Because of them. They're staring at you." And these guys just get up and start fighting him. He gets thrown off. They get thrown off the bus, and then they're like, "Hey, bro, conserve your strength. You're gonna need it because of them." And he looks at the fucking gate at the prison. It's just a big old group of just black dudes looking at him. And so, you know, he's like just still trying to like, he's still being fidgety or whatever. And the guard's like, "Hey, man, you keep it up, I'll lock your ass in solitary confinement." Then he elbows him in the fucking nose because he realized it's way better than dealing with that. I did solitary twice, 2 separate times for about 48 hours. So I know it's a nightmare. And so he gets out of solitary after 3 months of it. He asks the guard, he's like, "Hey, man, how long was I in there?" He's like, 3 months. He looks out the door, immediately sees a dude mopping, and he just looks at him. He's just like knife to the throat. And he just punches the cop and locks the door behind him. He spends 6 months in solitary confinement because it's way better. Cuts to like after that, he's a security guard. Hilarious. Remember when you were making fun of Jeff Ross earlier? Bitch. It's funny how fucking, what is it, karma, irony